We'd like to welcome everybody here to our 2023 Lindon City Meet the Candidates Night. We've got a handful of people online and also want to thank those of you that came here in person. We will start tonight's meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance led by our Deputy City Recorder, Brittany Laidler.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Brittany. My name is Adam Cowie. I'm the Lindon City Administrator, and I will be helping MC this, but we're also grateful that we have three members of our Youth City Council here tonight. It's Jace, McKaylee, and Ivana, and they will be helping us as moderators asking the questions of the candidates. So for those that are here in the room, there is a list of questions on the back table over here, and before we started here tonight, our youth council members selected several of those randomly, and those questions will be asked of the city council candidates. And so the candidates are seated in order of how they will appear on the ballot. And just as a little bit of explanation of what we'll do tonight, this isn't a debate. This is prepared questions that the candidates were given beforehand. These were items that our current city council felt were important. And so again, we're just asking a few of the questions that they've prepared. The candidates will have an opportunity to give a 3-minute introduction that we'll start with, and then after those, we'll ask those questions. Each of you will have 2 minutes to fully answer your question, and then we've instructed these youth council members to cut you off so we can keep moving through the meeting. So let's see. If any of the members of the public that are here would like to ask questions, at the bottom of this paper, you're welcome to jot down a question and then go ahead and give that to our city recorder. Kathy, could you raise your hand? And Kathy will collect those. We'll see if there's anything there that we feel is appropriate and ask the council members. So, yes, we have had that happen before. So, and then also for just some additional items here, after we're finished, we'll excuse our candidates to actually go out into the lobby, and you're welcome to stick around after this and ask them other questions. And they've all agreed to stay and get to know you better. So I think we are ready to go. So with that, we will turn it over to our moderators. And just a reminder again, for those with mics, you got to get fairly close. So, okay?
We're going to start with Mr. Hooley with your introduction. You're going to have 3 minutes.
Great. I guess I'll start with the most important parts of myself, and that's my wife is Lexi, and I have 4 daughters and twin baby boys that will be about a year. Actually, they're fresh, little baby guys. I have deep roots here in the community. I grew up in Lindon. I'm the 6th generation of my family to be here, spanning about 150 years. So we've been here before Lindon was even considered a city. I went to Lindon Elementary, to Oak Canyon when it was brand new, and then to Pleasant Grove High School after that. I have a deep, abiding love and loyalty as a result for this place. The people here and the culture that our community enjoys. In addition to that loyalty and love for this place, I've also had professional experiences that offer a fresh perspective on some of the issues I think our city is facing. After I finished college at BYU, I went to graduate school in Massachusetts, where I did a master's degree in clinical social work. Then I moved to New York City, where I met my wife, actually. I was a social worker there, and I provided mental health therapy as well for a number of years, fine-tuning my capacity to listen to people with widely different opinions and to help see folks change, make the kinds of changes that brought more satisfaction to their life. Then I wanted to make a bigger difference and affect systems at a larger scale. So I decided to go back and do a PhD in a research-intensive full-time program where I was able to build skills to influence systems and organizations. Now I'm back in Lindon, been here now back for several years. I'm a professor at BYU in their graduate program of social work. I do research, and I think the areas of research could be beneficial to this city. I help organizations and systems change, to take in practices that are the best practices and make those practices the easy thing to do, and to get what works to everybody who needs it. I teach, I have a private practice as well. And the reason why I decided to run for city council is, like many cities, there are things in Lindon that we could do more of, less of, and differently. I've heard that in 3 different surveys I administered to residents, in conversations on your doorstep, and in other locations, in city council meetings and planning commission meetings. And I think the combination of my loyalty and love of this city and the fresh perspective I can bring from my professional experience could lend themselves to these issues. Thank you. Cheers.
That was a good idea. Let me see if I can figure this out.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hooley. Mr. Frampton, you are up next.
Thank you, sorry. I'm gonna figure this technical so I know 3 minutes right here, so. Because I thought it was the senior one up here, but there's one guy just a little.
I'll just kick you if that helps.
Of course I have to follow this young man. I admire Cole Hooley, and as a matter of transparency, he is my nephew. Many of you may or may not know that, but we're proud of him. His parents are here, my sister and brother-in-law, and we love Cole and appreciate him. I'm not quite 6th generation, but 5th generation in Lindon. And I wasn't going to share this. I know a few of you out there. It's so crazy. I go back. I was the king of Lindon Fair. I was 5 years old. If any of you know the Gilmans, Gilman Lane down there, Janelle Gilman was the queen. So, like, that helps me at all in this position. But I just thought I'd throw that out there. So Bret Frampton, 5th generation on the land. Recently lost my parents in the last couple of years, and that's been a challenge. And we still have a lot of properties there. 3 properties there now, right across from the college from Wadley Farms, who are great neighbors. Married Julie, best thing I ever did. Mm-hmm. We have 6 children, and we now have 18 grandchildren, of which 9 live within a block here in Lindon. So I have a big vested interest in keeping Lindon, But I will say this, I had a chance to serve on the Lindon City Council from 2010 to 2014, and it was a great experience, and the people, the employees of Lindon, it was wonderful. We were on when Adam was hired, when Heath was hired. There was a lot of really neat things that took place there. I was really proud of some of the things we did. Of course, it's different. It's progressed. We're down the road. We got new challenges that are coming up. I just decided to run because I've got friends on the council, friends here in the city. I'm about relationships. That's so important to me in my life, is my relationships, and that's what I think I could bring, is some experience and relationships to just keep Lindon headed in the direction. We've done some wonderful things in this city, and so that's why I'm here, and would appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Stewart?
My name is Steve Stewart, and I've been a Lindon resident for 26 years. My wife and I have been in Utah for 42 years. I was born and raised in Southern California, in communities 50 miles east of Los Angeles. I graduated from high school in 1977. After I graduated, I served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to Tokyo, Japan, from 78 to 80. I married my dear wife, who's here, along with my daughter and my nephew. I'm grateful for them. We got married 42 years ago, which is just, we were only in California for 7 months, and then came here to Utah to go to school. We both graduated together, walked across the same stage. I graduated in math education, and she graduated in elementary education. So we walked together there in 1986, and we both went into education after that point. We have 6 children and 5 grandchildren, and all but one of our children live here in the area, in the counties here. We have 1 son and his wife and 2 granddaughters up in Northern California. I was hired by Alpine School District to teach math at Orem High School and coach baseball. And I was there for 5 years, and during that time I went to BYU to get my master's degree in educational leadership. And once I graduated, I received my first position as an assistant principal at Pleasant Grove Junior High. I then came over here to Lindon and opened Oak Canyon Junior High in 1993. It was so long ago. In matter of transparency, Cole was one of my students.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed that experience. And then I went from there to Timpanogos High School, so I was 10 years as an assistant principal. In 2001, I became the principal of Orem Junior High. I was there for 8 years. And then I opened up a new middle school out in Saratoga Springs, and I was out there for 7 before coming back here to the area to be the principal of Pleasant Grove High School, which I was there for 5 years before I retired. After about 20 years before I retired, after 20 years out of school after my master's, I went back to get a doctorate, and I went to UNLV. And no, I did not quit my job. I had to drive there once a month for a weekend and then 3 weeks in the summers, and it took 4 years, but I finally got it done and earned a doctorate from there. And anyway, I've got some leadership experience that I really appreciate. And
20 seconds.
after retirement, I was approached by Mayor Lundberg and Councilmember Powell to start the Lindon Youth Council, which these young people here are members of, and that's been a wonderful experience. I have the time and desire to serve, and that's why I'm here.
All right, thank you, Mr. Stewart. Mr. Jacobs, you're up next.
This is so fun to see you guys here. Mayor Anderson is one of our youth mayors, and so that other mayor in the back, I'm just going to ignore her. We're going to focus on Mayor Anderson. You got it, Chase. My name is Lincoln Jacobs. My wife and I moved to Lindon 32 years ago in what we intended to be our starter home. Our plan was to live here for 5 years and then move on. After just a few months, we fell in love with Lindon. We determined we would stay here as long as we could. We raised our 4 children here. We participated in our community, schools, and church. My wife Lisa volunteered and worked at Rocky Mountain Elementary, then at Pleasant Grove High School. Together we chaperoned 5 different choir tours. Pleasant Grove High School, we just loved working with the kids. Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Why would you do that? It was fun. I was involved in the scouting program for over 15 years. I started as my ward scoutmaster. I then got involved with our district, and I did adult leader training with the district. And then I spent about 12 years with the council training adult leaders in a leadership wood badge course that covered from the point of the mountain down to St. George and clear out to Vernal. I love working with our youth. I love working with our youth. Shortly after our first grandchild was born, my wife passed away. Once I figured out which way was up, I started attending the Lindon City Council meetings. My chair is right there. Terry, raise your hand. Right there where Terry sits. Second row, all the way to the end. For 2 years, I have been listening and learning from our residents, from our Lindon City employees, from our mayors, and from our city council members. I recently remarried. I am a midlife newlywed. Terry, who was sitting in my seat, is my cute new wife. You know that she's helping me because when you see the table, when you get out there, you know Lincoln could not have decorated it that cute. It's my turn to give back. I'm running for Lindon City Council so that I can take everything that I've learned for the last 2 years from our residents, from our mayors, from our city council, from our incredible city employees, and give back to Lindon City. We live in an amazing place. Our city employees are the best. As I have met with our city manager and other department heads, every single time they have said, when I have complimented them on the great things they've done, every single one of them said, it's not me, it's the good people we work with. We have amazing city employees. We have great city leaders that have created a wonderful foundation for us today to create the community that we have and enjoy. I would be honored to work together with
20
all of those
seconds.
people to continue to make sure the legacy of Lindon continues forward. Thanks.
All right. This next question, we're going to start with Mr. Stewart, and then it's just going to go left from there. This question is, what do you perceive as the 3 best things about Lindon City that set it apart from other cities? And then you will have 2 minutes for a response.
Okay. I appreciate that question. As I mentioned, back in 1993, I came to Lindon as an assistant principal. We opened Oak Canyon Junior High. I lived in Orem at the time. We had purchased our first home after living in Provo for a while as starving students and then as starving teachers. And when we were there for 9 years, and it just got to a point we felt like we needed more room. We had 5 kids. It was we were on a little corner lot, 0.24 acres, and we just needed some room, some space. When it came to Oak Canyon, there was something about the community that just really stood out to us, and I tried to help Heather understand it, but then she had a friend here who was going to sell a home, and she, came in here and told me about it, and we felt like, you know what, the community, the feeling of community and the sense of pride that people have in this city is so evident in the way that they interact, the way that they treat people. We learned what a little bit of country means. It was a community of kindness and caring. We just felt so welcomed, and it was a special feeling to be here. So when that home came available, we came and looked, and it was evident this was where we needed to be. It's been 26 years now, and we can't even imagine living anywhere else. So, if you want my 3 things, the feeling of community, the sense of pride, the community of kindness and caring, those are my 3
20 seconds.
Reasons that we are here in Lindon, the things that we love about it. And we had the opportunity to look at something else and decided, no, this is where we want to be. Thank you.
Mr. Stewart, we're going to move on to Mr. Jacobs.
Lindon City residents are good people. This is a good place to be. I feel like we feel the way we feel at Lindon because it's safe, because it's not overly crowded, and because it's fiscally sound. We're not in debt, we're not running behind financially, we're taking care of ourselves responsibly. I had a great visit with our chief of police, and he showed me a lot of the workings of the police department of Lindon City. But we also had part of our conversation was talking about some of the officers. And I've had personal experiences with them in these kinds of situations as well, but how empathetic they are. There are times where they pull people over and they recognize that the individual that they've just pulled over, there's something more going on. And they take the time to take a deep breath and invite the police officer to understand what's going on. And they shared some deep feelings, and the officers understood them, encouraged them, reminded them to keep their speeds down, and then let them go on their ways. They're good police officers. Lindon adopted the motto, a little bit of country, 20 plus years ago. I was able to serve on the general plan committee that we recently had, and the citizens still like that. They still want that to reflect who we are today. It's important that in everything we do, we guard and we protect that little bit of country.
20 seconds.
Lindon is also fiscally sound. We have some great revenue from great businesses in our city. We have great revenue from 1600 North businesses throughout the city, and we have a great opportunity on 700 North to continue adding more businesses that as we grow in business and in residence.
That's time, thank you.
It will help.
Your turn, Mr. Hooley.
So I would say people, for sure. It's like a photo Rolodex in my mind of all the people that have shaped me into who I am. It kind of reminds me of like Mr. Rogers loved me into being, right? Loving me into who I am today. And so when I just think of all those people, I'm like, yeah, you took off some of the rough edges and absorbed some of my teenage barbs and didn't return them. And that was so kind. So first and foremost, people. Second thing, we have a diverse land use in the city. I don't know of too many neighboring municipalities where you can have a home that sits on an acre of land, have large animals, a garden, and be 2 minutes away from Walmart and a Home Depot, be 5 minutes away from the major freeway, be 45 minutes away from the international airport, have a lake on one side, have a canyon on the other with trails connecting them both. How does that exist in one place? And then the third thing, a small town feel with amenities that outsize us. A population of our size probably wouldn't get a lot of the things we do, but due to favorable sales tax bases and fiscal responsibility, we get to enjoy small town feel with a big price tag on it and still be able to enjoy it and know that we're okay. So those are the three things I like.
Mr. Hooley, Mr. Frampton.
Thank you. Thank you, Cole. Thank you, Lincoln, all these. The thing about Lindon, and that is exactly what I was going to say, there's three things that I like about Lindon. The people, and the people. That honestly is what, when I saw this question, is what I love. I was always just proud to be from, I look around this room and I see folks that I have relationships with who form me and who are just great neighbors. And, we've had that opportunity to be here all of those years. I coached sports for many, many years, and the relationships I had there, and, just continue. I do love the things that we've done to keep, some room between us here in Lindon. And that's going to be a challenge moving forward. We'll probably talk about that as we move on a little bit. We're actually sitting right here on some property years and years ago that my father and another city councilman, Sam Fryer, purchased for this city building. Lyle's here. So some of these guys know that, and it's just forward thinking, and I think we have those type of people that are looking forward down the road, because you just don't know those decisions that you make. So, yeah, those three things, just the people that are here. I love it here. Thank you.
If I could interject really quick, just for the sake of time, maybe we can suspend with the audience clapping after every question, because we have to do this about 30 more times. And so,
That's a good idea.
just move right on to the next question as soon as they're done.
All
Or the
right.
next person.
The next question is, our first responder will be Mr. Jacobs, and it is, what water conservation measures do you feel are most appropriate for Lindon to consider implementing as a method to reduce water use during periods of drought?
First thing that we should do is just turn it over to you guys, mayor and city council, youth, and let you guys help us figure this out. I'm kidding. We won't put that pressure on you yet. Metering was tough, right? Metering was not something Lindon City wanted to do. It was something that the state mandated. Fortunately, along with that mandate came a lot of grants, and our city employees were incredible in jumping on top of those grants, so the cost to Lindon City itself was very, very minimal. You can't improve what you don't measure. So the best answer to that question is we need to get the measuring under our belts and understand where it is that our water is going, because there can be some very, very simple things that we can do that can help us conserve water. But until we know where it's going, it's going to be hard to know what those are. I did a tour with our Public Works Director, Juan, and in that tour of the city, we went by the cemetery, and he said, I water twice a week right there. And I looked at the cemetery, and it's like, you water twice a week? That looks great. My jaw dropped. I went home. I changed my timer, and then I went out and I talked to my grass, and I explained to them the importance of them just getting watered twice a week, and they got to get their roots to go down deeper. We have to monitor, we have to learn, and we have to adjust. And yeah, it might be uncomfortable here and there, but we can maintain the green space that we love here in Lindon if we learn to adjust with that monitoring.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. We're going to move on to Mr. Hooley.
So I think of 4 things. Information, and so that comes to the data piece. Residents having feedback about their water usage is helpful. The city having data about their water usage is helpful. Information about how to conserve water, I think, is really important. Utah's the second driest state in the country, and even with the amount of rain and snow we've received, that's not going to change. So we are in drought. We will be in drought. And the city's done a good job of purchasing shares of water in reservoirs. And if the reservoirs are empty, it doesn't matter how many shares you have. And so I feel like it's prudent for us to act as if we are in a drought situation and to treat that resource preciously. So information is the first thing. Infrastructure is the second thing. With that data, with meters and other things, we can detect where there are leaks. So I was talking to the Public Works Director, and there were about 220 potential leaks, homes that have leaks in their secondary water system that's being indicated by the metering. And so it's like, oh, they would never have known that. And now we can go out and say, hey, let's see where that might be to conserve some of that. There are city policies for businesses that mandate how much grass they're supposed to have on the curb outside. Things like that can be changed so that it's more drought friendly. Say, let's focus on shrubs and trees in those instances that can promote better climate. Information, infrastructure, incentives. I think that you can do a lot more with incentivizing people with water-wise plants and choosing to flip the strip, things like that, using our resources to help promote this and say,
20
well,
seconds.
what if you want to get a little something for that? And then last but not least, hopefully we don't have to get there, but enforcement. If there comes a point where people aren't willing to do that after all those steps, I think it's appropriate to have usage caps, to have schedules and things like that if we need to.
Thank you, Mr. Hooley. We're going to move on to Mr. Frampton.
Yeah, the methods that I feel, I actually sat down with the new Public Works Director, Juan, as well, and was not aware of the opportunity that he has to track that if there's a leak in the secondary system. Actually sat down with him on the properties that I own, and I leave it to people like him. You know, they're experts, they know what they're doing, you know, and that was really eye-opening for me to be able to pinpoint some of that. Of course, with the metering, then we'll know that how much is being used by certain properties and certain folks. We have done a good job in the past with our water systems, and I just think we need to continue to take these new steps. And Juan really has made some amazing steps from what I could see, you know, just going down there after having been out for, you know, out of close to the situation for this long. So I think we're doing some great things at this point too. So thank you.
Mr. Frampton, we're going to move on to Mr. Stewart.
It seems that Juan is our best friend. We've all met with him numerous times. And what I've learned from him is that water is gold and data is king. What they've all mentioned is true about the metering. No matter what we think or think we think about metering, it's here, it's mandated by the state. And what I've learned is that through AquaTrax, which is the app that they use and that we have access to as individual citizens, that we can track how much water is being used, and as Cole mentioned about the leaks that are out there. He mentioned, I would visit him today on my way back from shopping and just dropped in, And he showed me a graph where one property was losing 800 gallons of water an hour, and showed another that was like 80. And he has a way of showing that baseline, and there's just so much water that's being wasted. And so just first and foremost, if we as individuals will self-monitor, if we'll look for those things in our own. I learned I have a 0. I was so excited that I have 0 waste. But throughout the city, there's going to be a lot of waste. If we could figure out how to use that, it's a matter of encouragement and education. There is so much information out there. There are smart boxes that adjust according to wind and rain. We can get rebates if we move to those. There is information about how to landscape and how to make our yards more water friendly. The key is what we as individual citizens do. And in the
20
past, we
seconds.
have responded well to requests to limit. Last year, yellow was the new green. We kind of struggled with that, but people responded, and we saw it throughout. So if we can just get everybody to learn and grow with this new situation. Thank you.
All right, thank you to our candidates. This next question is our first responder to this question is going to be Mr. Hooley. The question is, affordable housing is a major concern in Utah. What are your thoughts on affordable housing in Lindon, and what, if any, should the city be doing about it?
Great. I think getting people here isn't just the goal. It's about building communities that people can thrive in and that can be sustained for a really long time. And so sometimes fixing our minds on one particular thing can cause a problem in another. So fixing our mind on price sometimes could throw off something in another area. So development decisions, in my perspective, should be made with 7 generations in mind because they can be so permanent. And we should focus on what we can actually sustain for that whole period of time and have realistic expectations about what a community of our size can actually do. I think there's competing ideas and research actually on how you can attack this. There's a supply side that says just build a lot more. Do as much as you can, build as much as you can. And Lindon has a couple limitations in that we don't have a lot more space that we could even do something like that. And it goes against some of the culture of this place that suggests that we want to have a little bit more space. There's another idea that you can enforce caps. I've lived in places that do that. And there's government caps on how much housing can cost of certain types. And that doesn't quite jive with the political views here either. And so we have to find a middle ground in this space. And I think one thing that we've been doing that can do that is the auxiliary dwelling units, the apartments that are attached to homes or basement apartments that can give affordable housing, but also maintain the space that they're wanting. Another issue with affordable housing is all of our home prices have gone up so much that within a cycle or two of building and selling a home, it becomes quickly unaffordable. And so there are
20
macro
seconds.
issues that we are all being influenced by that we can't really influence at the city level. So we need to partner with state and even larger municipalities to make a dent in this.
Thank you. Mr. Frampton?
What are my thoughts on affordable housing? There is no affordable housing in Lindon. I mean, for my kids could not afford, most of my kids, a couple of my kids couldn't afford to buy, most of them couldn't afford to buy a home here. So what, if anything, can the city do about it? I don't know that we can always do much about it, frankly, just to be honest with my honest feelings there. The market dictates a lot of that. The Andersons eventually had to stop farming and sell the farm, and it's just kind of the way it is. I recently bought the home I grew up in, and I can't believe how much rent is, for somebody to rent it out. So I think that Lindon's, done a good job. I know over 10 years ago, we come out with that general plan. I was on the city council. I remember some of my family weren't really even happy with me. My dad, one of them, you need more, commercial, you need more of this, but, I think that we made a pretty good plan back then. I think that they've looked at different solutions, moving forward on the west side. So yeah, I frankly just, we've done a pretty good job, I'll say that so far, but sometimes there's just not a lot you can do about it. It's my opinion, so.
Thank you, Mr. Frampton. Mr. Stewart?
I had the opportunity to be on the general plan committee during that first year after I retired. And that general plan comes up every 10 years, and it addresses all the aspects of kind of where Lindon will go down in the future. The state required of a list of 24 possible actions to create more affordable housing to choose at least 3. Lindon chose 5 during that process. And I agree that it's really hard to address that in the current circumstances, but I think these 5 items were really excellent approaches. The first one being allowing accessory apartments. There's an R2 overlay that allows for those apartments to be sprinkled throughout our half-acre lots and provides a variety of housing for all ages at a little more reasonable price, I suppose. Number 2, eliminating impact fees for detached units. 3, set aside funds from community redevelopment area, RDAs, to subsidize moderate income housing. 4th was to waive police and fire impact fees related to moderate income housing. And the 5th, to implement zones incentives for moderate income units in new developments. It was quite a process to navigate through all of that, and looking at all the other options, those 5 seem to be the ones that will at least address somewhat the need for the moderate income housing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Mr. Jacobs, your turn.
We have a great planning director, Mike Florence. He does a great job monitoring the formulas that the state uses that measures affordable housing, and we as a city have to adhere to those mandates. He does a really good job of monitoring those as new developers come in and create proposals. He lets the city council know which ones of those will help us meet that and which one will detract from those. But he's done a really good job, as well as the planning commission in its entirety. They've helped us maintain a little bit of country in a very, very difficult place where housing is so difficult, so expensive. As they've mentioned, the ADUs, accessory dwelling units, those are the basement apartments. Those are great. They help out a great deal. But it's important that when we allow those ADUs to come in, that we maintain that neighborhood feel, right? Your parking has to be off the street. The neighborhood still has to feel like a neighborhood. We need to look at the traffic implications and make sure that we're not in traffic paralysis, right? We want a little bit of country to still be a little bit of country while we're trying to address this incredibly difficult need. We have a general plan, right? So we redid that general plan just last year. Some of us were able to participate on that. We went to the city residents, and we have a general idea of where we would like business to go, where we would like a little bit higher density housing to go. And we need to follow that general plan. Things change, right? Things are going to change. As opportunities come up, we need to make sure that we take advantage of those opportunities and do the right things. Keep the cars off the streets. Make sure that we
20
have
seconds.
good traffic flow. And then, again, keep that mantra in mind. We want a little bit of country. I need to compliment Steve. Steve works with these kids, and he's worked with them the past year, and he's done a great job.
All right, thank you. Our next question, our first responder will be Mr. Frampton. And the question is, how can the inevitable growth of residential and commercial development in Lindon be balanced with the "a little bit of country" motto?
That's a good question. The little bit of country motto has been, neat for Lindon. We've all had that, and I grew up here. We all enjoyed that. I think it's more than about the growth and the commercial development. It's about the the attitude and the activities and the sense of community that we have as part of that. And we can continue to do all of those things that we do. However, you know, the realistic part of it is we don't have much land left. And I feel like the city has been proactive in keeping those pockets available for us. One right across the road from me, Wadley Farms, I sat through a planning commission and a city council where they made, in my opinion, really good decisions to keep that commercial farm zone active for a long time, you know, with the decisions that they made to keep that there. There's other pockets that we have, and keeping the parks, keeping the arena for those that ride horses. We just need to continue to look for those pockets that we can keep like that, and just try to control the growth and the multifamily situations as best we can. So I feel like we've done as good a job as any for being in the middle of Utah County. So
Thank you, Mr.
thanks to
Frampton.
those.
We're going to move on to Mr. Stewart.
Thank you. I agree with Bret that I think the little bit of country motto is as much about an attitude and feeling within the city as much as it is about open space. I've been out to Lindon, or Anderson Farms, up into the east side here. That doesn't look like country, but they are beautiful communities. And so I think that as we look to what's left to develop, and in one larger area that I have a lot of interest in is the 700 North Corridor. There's a huge opportunity to create a vibrant and beautiful, inspiring gathering place, a community that we have an opportunity to design it, basically. And I think we can do that within that little bit of country theme and create a really wonderful space down there. We have the opportunity as a council to determine the look and feel of that space, and that's a very large space to fill. It'll create a sense of place, a destination for other communities, and create opportunities for us to even bolster further our financial foundation. So I'm looking forward to that, and appreciate Mayor Lundberg for her vision in that, and in keeping in line all of the development that occurs here in Lindon, along with keeping that culture and climate and atmosphere that we so enjoy.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. We'll move on to Mr. Jacobs.
City council, their responsibility is to represent the citizens, right? If the citizens want something and I personally disagree with it, my job is to go with what the citizens say regardless of how I feel personally. That general plan goes every 10 years, right? We redid it last year. We went out to the citizens. It represents what the citizens of Lindon want, right? They indicated, we're okay with some higher density housing here. We're okay with business here. We're okay with our good old open spaces here. We need to follow that general plan. It's a static document. Life's going to change. We need to make sure that we take into account the important things that help keep that little bit of country. As development opportunities come up, we've got to look at the impact it's going to have on our traffic, right? Traffic is the biggest thing. Parking, traffic. I've said that before. We need to make sure that we take advantage of the park tax, right? As the housing, as the business increases, we need to have our parks and trails increase as well. That park tax is a great opportunity where people from other areas come and spend their money in Lindon, and we use that money to help build the Lindon amenities. It's a great thing. I spend about 4 hours walking out in Anderson Farms, and I use my drone to watch the traffic during rush hour traffic, morning rush hour traffic. And I think that's something that we've always got to do, is keep an eye as things evolve. What's it doing to our traffic, and what do we need to do to help make sure that we've still got that smooth flowing traffic?
20 seconds.
It's a tough situation, but there are ways that we can work together to keep that little bit of country that we have.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. Mr. Hooley.
growth is the accumulation of choices. And so I think the pressure to grow, we could say, is inevitable, but the response to that pressure is a choice. And so just as if we knew there was this huge influx of water coming, we could just be bowled over by it and let it filter into everywhere it would want to be. Or if we know that that's coming, then we could be proactive and build channels and ditches and retention ponds to put that water where it would best serve the community. And that comes down to choices that we make now. And what I've heard from residents, both in like the surveys and in conversations, that when it comes to commercial development, variety is what folks are wanting. We've attracted a number of business types, but then we end up having many of that same type. And so they're seeking variety in the types of businesses that we can have. When it comes to these residential decisions and growth, as has been mentioned, there's only a few more places on the board that can be changed, but there's also been talks about what to do on larger plots and backfilling and things like that. And I've heard a lot of resistance to those ideas from residents. And so I would take my cue from the residents to not pursue that sort of development strategy, but to rather use those spaces that are still available to us. Thanks.
Okay, we have not received any questions from the audience.
That's awesome. Let's just move on.
So I think we've got time for one more, and number 7 was the one that you guys randomly selected there. So we'll go to that, and then we'll wrap up. Okay.
All right, so we're back at Mr. Stewart to begin as the responder for this question. So this question is our number 7. It's what are your top priorities for the future of Lindon?
I think we've already mentioned that water conservation is a huge issue, especially with the drought that we've experienced, and that would be one of my top priorities. And I just mentioned in my last answer about the 700 North Corridor, the Lindon Gateway Village. I don't know if that's an official name or not, but it Mayor's nodding, yes, so it must be. And that whole concept down there and that open land to do something to create a gateway into Lindon. Lindon is easy to pass through quickly. I've had people tell me they don't know whether they're in Lindon or not. But we know its boundaries, but wouldn't it be nice to have an entrance, and as I mentioned, a vibrant and exciting, inspiring place to gather. We don't have a traditional downtown, but we could develop one there, and so that too would be one of my priorities, just to look into that and be part of the development of that area. I also mentioned, I have a flyer out there if you'd like to see it. I will support and promote protecting and maintaining the unique culture of Lindon. I am all about responsible and compatible growth. So whatever comes in needs to fit with what we're doing. I'm really excited about the opportunity and the potential to serve on the city council. I'm excited about Lindon itself, and thank you for your time, and grateful for these young people who I get to be with a lot for their time and efforts, and just would like to end with that.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Mr. Jacobs?
Keeping our community feel, right? Sticking with that little bit of country feel. When I started working with the General Plan Committee, that was one of the questions I brought up. That's who we used to be. Is it still who we are? And the residents responded overwhelmingly, yeah, that's what we want. So that's one of the top priorities of Lindon, keeping that community a little bit of country feel. Like Steve, I have a flyer out there as well, and hoping that there will be one on every single resident's door. In that flyer, I outline balanced housing, right? Affordable housing is difficult, but we can have balanced housing, a little bit of country, wider, larger lots with some higher density areas. But we've got to make sure parking off the streets, traffic flow stays good throughout that. Staying fiscally strong, we get a lot of money from our businesses within the interior of Lindon. We get a lot from that 1600 North Corridor. We have great potential there on 700 North as we grow. we need to take advantage. The momentum is already there on 700 North. We just need to carry through with it. That's not that difficult. Well, okay, it's a little bit challenging. Mayor Lundberg does great. And then supporting law enforcement, right? We feel safe. My garage door got left open. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus because I think there's an amendment that I can't incriminate myself. But I got out the next morning and my bikes weren't stolen. Maybe I shouldn't say this. Anyway, nothing was stolen, right? And I was so grateful that I feel the security and the safety that we feel. And we need to continue supporting our law
20
enforcement.
seconds.
When I met with Chief Brower, he talked about some things that are really important and some less things. And he's all about taking care of those most important things and working with our budget to do those most important things. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. Mr. Hooley?
I understand the purpose of tonight is to understand our perspective. I would love if we could just turn the microphones around for this question, actually, because it isn't about my priorities, it's about yours. And so, I mean, I'm happy to share my thinking so you can know if I'm aligned with you or not on a variety of issues. I've heard about deer control and infrastructure and residential concerns, like all of those things have come up. And your priorities are my priorities. And so for me, when I think about the future of Lindon, there are facets of it that I can't control, but what I can control is what I can do in this position. So these are a few things that I feel like I can control as a future priority for myself. I can be accessible to you. You can reach me, and I'll reach out to you. I can be responsive to you so that you can feel like not only that I got the message, but I get it, that you actually feel seen and heard. I can be transparent. If everyone is wanting something and there's so many good ways of living life, let's do that. And if I'm going to vote a different way, you should know why. If there's a logistic reason, if there's a legal reason that most of us weren't aware of, or maybe, I can't imagine a situation, but if there's like a moral reason why that wouldn't be right, I think you should be able to hear that from me to know why that's the case. And so I want to create for myself a system where we are connected so that I can feel confident that I'm representing your wishes right, so that your priorities will be the future priorities for the city.
Thank you, Mr. Hooley. Mr. Frampton?
One of the things that kind of surprised me, I think, the most when I served on the city council was how few people came to the city council meetings. You know, we got to meet the candidate night tonight, and, you know, there's a hand, you know, thanks for coming. But, you know, it's interesting when things are going good and you're in the city, you just kind of float along and, you know, let them take care of it and everything's okay unless it comes right down to your neighborhood or something like that. The other thing was how I was on there right after 2008, so we were in kind of a recession, and how fiscally smart the folks of Lindon had been up to that, even up to that point. And then there was some other things that happened during that time that enabled us to put some money towards the senior center, to do the veterans, you know, memorial, and to do some other things, the Friar Park, out of that recession. And now we're 10 years more down the road, and there's more, the park tax, there's kind of, Lindon's made some great choices. And so I would just say continue that would be my, you know, my priority. And then one of my other priorities is to remember the history. Remember the history of Lindon. You know, I know Lyle's been on the historical committee. We've had good people on that committee. Alan's done a lot. Just to keep, we've done a pretty good job, but the further down the road we get, the harder it is to do that. So those are some of my priorities. I beat you.
All right. Now we're going to have our 2-minute closing statement from each of our candidates, starting with Mr. Lincoln. Mr. Jacobs, sorry.
Looked at his and he turned his off and I thought, that's such a good idea. I I like the way you said that.
Sorry, Mr. Cole. Sorry, Mr. Hooley.
Still like Mr. Lincoln.
You get to start. Oh, you get to start.
Okay. Me, all right. Lindon means so much to me, and if I can be of service, I would like to be. I'm an optimistic pragmatist. I'm a community-centered problem solver. I want to be a megaphone to your voice so that the decisions that are made here that impact your lives have your fingerprints all over them. So that when you see those decisions, you could look at them and say, yeah, that's about right. And so I want to build in structures and processes that could facilitate that. That this can continue to be a community that we're all proud of. I was on the Master Plan Committee too, and I'm open to that, and I'm open to you wanting something different as well. Because there might be changes that we can't foresee, and I like the idea of a nimbleness and a flexibility to what we want to do to continue making this community great for another, in my case, hopefully another 6 generations from now, where they could come and share, oh yeah, I'm the 20th generation of my family to be here in Lindon, and it's awesome. I would like to be just a small link in the chain of goodness here and to serve you. So if it fits with what you're looking for, I welcome your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hooley. Mr. Frampton.
Thank you. I would just leave you with the thought. I decided to run again because of some friends that approached me about it. I feel like I bring some experience from the time I served on the city council. It's amazing how much you can learn in 10 years from that time. And so I feel like I've learned a lot of things that would maybe help me this time around. I love living here. I have some time. I'm still working, but my job allows me some flexibility. So I don't think it's going to be quite as crazy as it was when I was serving on the council from 2010 to 14. I'm not coaching my grandkids. I'm just watching now, which is a lot more fun actually. So yeah, I would just say experience a voice of common sense, a voice of reason. I'm so excited for the Lindon Temple. I just can't believe that that's coming. It's here. We got so many exciting things happening in this city, and yeah, I'd just like to be a part of it. So thank you for your time. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Frampton. Mr. Stewart.
A year ago, a friend of mine asked me if I had ever considered running for city council, and I said no. And it was at that time I'd been asked to be on the general plan committee and to start the Lindon Youth Council. And those experiences in working with the people here in this city, the mayor and city council, have gotten to know the city manager and planning or community development director and public works director, all these great people who you just really want to just get out of their way, let them do what they do because they do it so well. But going back to my time, and I'll just focus on Pleasant Grove High School, which is where I ended, it's a community within a community, and I guess I was the mayor there. And I enjoyed the interactions. I enjoyed the community. I enjoy youth, which is why I so enjoy working with the Youth Council. They are the future, and I want them and my children and grandchildren to have the best that is available. I have a great desire to serve. 2 years of retirement has taught me that I don't really want to be fully retired. I have other things I'd like to do, and I think this would be a great opportunity to serve and to give back, and I appreciate your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Mr. Jacobs.
Oh, I liked Mr. Lincoln better. You guys have done a great job tonight. Thank you. Lindon City is a wonderful place to live because of its residents. We love and support each other in times of need. It's a good place because of the city employees. Many of them are not city residents, but they are good people, and they care about what they do, and they want what's best for Lindon City. It's a good place because of its elected officials. They've done a good job laying the groundwork for us. Nobody has a crystal ball, but they've taken the information, the best information they can get, and they have made the best decisions they could make under the circumstances and with the information they had. I've been sitting from my chair over there for 2 years, listening, learning, and observing. I've been learning from them. If the Lindon City residents choose to elect me to serve on the City Council, I will do so as I have been taught by the great examples of the people that have been in this room. Whether I'm sitting in one of these chairs, or whether I'm sitting there in my chair over there where Terry is, I'm going to do my best to give back to the community that has loved and supported me for the past 32 years. The election ballot will read in this order, from Cole to Bret to Steve and to Lincoln. And we all know how the saying goes, last the best of all the game. Just saying.
Okay, thank you. Now let's give them a big round of applause. We appreciate your willingness to run for local office. It's a hard thing to put your name out there and be judged by your neighbors and friends, and we appreciate your willingness to serve our community. Just a few quick thoughts here as we wrap up. I've been with Lindon City, worked with Lindon since 2005, and I just sat here and added it up. These three, you'll be voting for 3 out of these 4 candidates. That will be the 19th city council member that I've worked with in that time frame, and the 3rd mayor. Wow. And Lindon's been blessed with good people that try to make good decisions for their community. In those years, we've had a lot of change and a lot of challenging issues that these elected officials try their best to make good decisions. So we thank you for your willingness and thank those that have served in the past and are currently serving. Just a quick couple of other items as FYI on your ballots. As residents, you will also see an item for the park tax, PARC. It stands for Parks, Arts, Recreation, and Culture. This is a 1/10 of 1 cent, or excuse me, a 1/10 of a cent sales tax. So that would be 1 penny out of every $10 spent that is collected and comes into Lindon City as revenue for our parks, trails, amenities throughout the community. That has been in place for 10 years, and that is up for a renewal on the ballot. So the citizens will have an opportunity to renew that or not. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. There's more information about the park tax on our city website, lindoncity.org. Ballots will be mailed out. We're doing a mail-in ballot this year again. They will be mailed out the week of October 30th. And they need to be postmarked by November 20th. That's the day before Election Day. Or you can drop them off at a ballot drop box by 8 p.m. on Election Day, November 21st. And there is one drop box just at the lower end of our city parking lot down here, and then several others around the community, or around the county. So with that, I think we'll excuse our candidates to go out in the lobby and give them just 30 seconds here to get ahead of this audience. And again, let's give them a round of applause. And also, thank you to our youth council members for moderating.
Whatever the state is down our neck to do, we're going to keep Lindon what it is and minimize. We have to allow different kinds